Hello and welcome Bitcoin Chaser fans, and welcome back to another Live at 5. It is now 7:30 GMT plus 2, but we are doing the news live at 5 with myself, BroKaine. As you can hear, I've got the hiccups. It's that time of week, so I'm just trying to survive through that while still trying to do this. Oh, we're having a look at the coin market cap. 1.52% down in the last 24 hours for Bitcoin and everything else. Whoa, look at that. I mean, we had a massive drop today. Absolutely crazy. Look at Ethereum down 4% in the last 24 hours at $200 now. It was at about 230 almost 2 days ago. That's mad, right? 5% down in the last 24 hours on XRP, 10% down on Bitcoin Cash. As we get closer and closer to the hard fork, this is perilsome times as we're getting closer now. Stellar at almost 6% down in the last 24 hours. Previously had an up. EOS at down 4.16% in the last 24 hours. Litecoin below $50 at the moment at 3.82% down in the last 24 hours. These hiccups. Cardano at 5.88% down in the last 24 hours. Monero at $101 down 2.35% down in the last 24 hours. And finally Tether at 98 cents again. Not even $1. Wow, what is happening to the markets, guys? Today we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. We're talking about what is happening on Bitcoin Chaser News. We're talking about Bitcoin mining and UK car emissions could be equal. How hectic is that, right? How to buy Bitcoin. For those of you who didn't know, that we're evolving now in the whole pursuit of being able to purchase Bitcoin with fiat. So that's where we are at the moment. And we're going to show you some new solutions in order to purchase some Bitcoins with fiat using one of the Bitcoin Chaser sections. These hiccups are killing me. Right, then we're going to be taking a look at a roulette strategy. And finally, Son of a Chain is coming in to talk about, can you believe it, getting excited, electricity and emissions from Bitcoin mining. Is going to give some insight and perspective onto that. So we're on the Bitcoin Chaser website. As much of you do know that down below in the description is the links to everything that we discuss. And if you like the video right now, I promise I'll do my best to stop hiccuping, because I did not time the start of the live stream right with the amount of times that I'm hiccuping, right? Okay, so let's go to the news section. We are now taking a look at Bitcoin mining and UK car emissions could be equal. And then we're taking a look at the Son of a Chain segment. So let's get into this. The latest research paper on the amount of electricity that Bitcoin mining consumptions. Okay, so let's try that again. The latest research paper on the amount of electricity that Bitcoin mining consumes is practically a peculiar one, compared to emissions from cryptocurrency usage to that of UK's car fleet. Right, so this is talking about how they are now comparing Bitcoin mining emissions and the cost of actually being able to mine Bitcoins with all the computing power required is comparable to that of UK car fleet, which is mad, right? So the UMH Department of Geography study, reveals that within 22 years, Bitcoin could produce enough greenhouse gases to boost global temperatures by 2 degrees Celsius, which is thought to be the critical threshold above which climate change would become completely devastating. Assumes that the rate of cryptocurrency adoption would be equal to other technologies, and that current emission patterns per kilowatt in the countries that host Bitcoin mining hardware will remain at their current levels. It also assumes that more adoption requires more mining, which is a deep misunderstanding about how Bitcoin works. So if you're trying to take this into consideration here, so we're basically saying that this UMH Department of Geography study revealed that they believe within 22 years, Bitcoin mine could produce enough global greenhouse gases to produce temperatures above 2 degrees Celsius from where we're currently at, which is thought to be a critical temperature. And they assume that cryptocurrency adoption would be equal to that of other technologies at the current emission patterns. And what they wrongly calculate is they assume that much more adoption requires more mining, which is not the case, thanks to the varying difficulty algorithm that we have on the Bitcoin blockchain. Guys, I'm so sorry about these hiccups. So the takeaway, the report suggests that cryptocurrencies must aim at reducing the electricity demand. Mining, which is crucial for the transaction verification process, requires a lot of energy. That is an element that POW-based blockchains require, but not POS or IOTA's Tangle either. Therefore, these views these researchers have, it's pretty skewed and shows a misunderstanding of how cryptocurrency really works. And it's very true. People are assuming, people are just assuming. They can build a whole study about something that they assume, which is absolutely crazy in my opinion, right? How can you just completely disregard certain influential aspects of what you're trying to digest here, and then you actually release a study on it and you have some incorrect data? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's take a look at Son of a Chain. Let's get into it. Tell me what you think. Here we are. Son of a Chain. Electricity and emissions from Bitcoin mining.
Electricity and emissions from Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining are often portrayed as dirty industries in terms of the emissions they produce and the amount of energy they require. These arguments are logically flawed for many reasons. I'm going to expose how some of these arguments are based on a deep misunderstanding about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining and a lack of logic about how the whole generation consumption axis works in terms of energy and electricity. When speaking about emissions, it is important to talk about the industry and the economic distortions that governments create. China is the classic example. One of the reasons why Bitcoin mining has high emissions is because China subsidizes its electricity, and despite an effort to clean the industry by utilizing less coal and more renewables, its electricity generation is still dirtier than that of other countries which don't subsidize electricity generation or consumption as heavily. These market distortions, together with the dirtier electric plans, the availability of hardware that is produced locally, and a desire to access forex markets, which the government restricts, make China a factor in Bitcoin's poor emissions performance. Critics could just blame the Chinese government for those emissions, and then they would be on the right track, especially because Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies don't need more mining power as adoption levels rise. That is another blatant misconception that the same economic distortions we see in electricity markets in China have helped propagate. Bitcoin can process the same amount of transactions if it has half the mining power in the network, and it can do it as quickly as it does it now because difficulty adjusts to keep the time intervals between the hashing of new blocks virtually constant. Of course, a sudden drop in mining power that is big enough in terms of magnitude will slow down the network until difficulty adjusts, but ultimately, mining power added to the network was a function of price and partially of exogenous economic distortions. About a year ago, putting another ASIC online was extremely profitable because Bitcoin prices were on the rise and difficulty was lower. Electricity prices, especially in China and other countries that subsidize electricity and generate it using dirtier sources of energy, allowed many to attain 5 or 6 month return on investment on their new ASICs. As a result, mining difficulty increased significantly and returns dropped as a result. This brings me to the final point regarding logical flaws in emission arguments against Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Markets balance themselves out. As prices drop and returns on mining decrease, miners should drop out of the networks, or at least mining difficulty should stop increasing. That means cryptocurrency, and specifically Bitcoin, should curb their emissions by letting the market balance everything out, including the sources of energy for the electricity they need to operate and the way electricity is generated. We need to let the markets work and pressure governments into understanding that they create the market distortions that increase emission levels.
How insane is that, right? Tell me what you think about this week's Son of a Chain segment, talking about the fact that we are not taking into consideration one of the most important aspects of Bitcoin and the way Bitcoin maintains its own network is the difficulty algorithm, which adjusts based on the demand for, or at least the supply of processing power and transactional power. And when it's when it's heavily populated with transactional power and there's a lot of resources available, so the difficulty adjusts more difficult in order to be able to create the next block. And when mining power reduces and there's less available power within the network, that's when mining difficulty decreases and allows the blocks to be mined at the same speed. Virtually at any kind of load, there is some time that it takes for it to adjust. So that's very interesting. Could Bitcoin be one of the more influential aspects of our rise to the global warming epidemic? Do you think that's something that could happen in the close to distant future? Please do let me know in the comments below. Next, we're taking a look at how to buy Bitcoin. So for those of you who haven't bought it yet, you're just watching this live stream because you're really passionate about crypto, but you're not quite holding your own portfolio yet. For those of you who still get paid in fiat, buying Bitcoin has become easier as the digital asset keeps on gaining traction. So to buy Bitcoin at an exchange, the easiest way to buy Bitcoin is at an exchange that offers fiat deposits. Since they deal with fiat funds, they must be regulated so they respond to local and legal requirements. Therefore, users seeking to buy Bitcoin at one of these exchanges must be ready to face the following: KYC requirements, which is the submission of your identification documentation, and geographic restrictions. Some exchanges will not allow you to be able to use their services from a specific country if that is where you're from, if your country of origin is excluded from the accepted list of countries. The convenience of buying Bitcoin at an exchange comes at the cost of being identified and having the coins you purchase tied to that KYC process. Nevertheless, they are safe as long as you use well-established exchanges and fees are generally low. So here are some exchanges for you to go check out. We already have a exchange review of CX.io. Following that, we will have a review on Binance, then HitBTC and Spectre Coin. Local Bitcoins is the option for you if you're not really interested in submission of KYC documentation. You can purchase it basically in a peer-to-peer network from someone else who's local to you. You can either meet them or make a transaction online from a trusted seller. That is what localbitcoins.com is. It's a person-to-person trading network of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, and then exchanges are more centralized authorities that have multiple cryptocurrencies and multiple required documentation protocols and multiple 2FA kind of incentives for their users, whereas local Bitcoins is not like that, but you do not have to submit your KYC documentation. So let me know what your personal preference is. Be sure to watch this video when you're done. The link to this page is in the description below. Actually, some really good information here talking about how to become anonymous with the Bitcoin ATM, how to buy Bitcoin with the credit card, talking about P2P purchases of Bitcoin, and talking about asking a financial advisor about Bitcoin futures. That's something for you to go check out. Please do let me know what you think about that. Don't be afraid to share our stuff on Facebook and Twitter. We have live streams coming out there all the time. So if you're not following us on Facebook and you like these live streams, there is new content coming out there for you guys if you want to give us a follow. So, roulette strategy. So most of us, we know about roulette. You know what? You've heard about it. You've seen it. But did you know that you can play roulette at crypto casinos and use cryptocurrencies in order to make a bet and easily withdraw and transact and gamble anonymously? And these are some of the benefits we can see from cryptocurrency. So talking about the roulette strategy, have you played roulette? Have you ever wondered about strategies that people could use? Let's take you through this real quick, and then you can come read it at your own time and see if you can break the casino. Let's check it out. So roulette strategy: European wheel versus American wheel. What are the rules of the roulette strategy and the history? So take a look at this. We're not going to go into the exact differences between the European wheel, but we will highlight what the differences are. So you basically have American roulette, which is this wheel here, and then you have the European roulette. And the immediate difference is there's only two things really. The American roulette has a 0 and a double 0, and the European roulette has a single 0, and the numerical order of the numbers is different between the European roulette table and the American roulette table. So what you can do with this is you can then go and attack one of these roulette tables with a strategy and a preference, right? So you get the martingale roulette strategy, which means you variate your bet in accordance with this number sequence, which you can read up about, which is the martingale and the Fibonacci are well known. They're used often. You've probably heard of it, but what you probably haven't heard of, if you do regularly go and you do place bets at casinos with cryptocurrency, what you probably haven't heard about is the French wheel roulette strategies, which is like Giro Zero, Voisins du Zero, Tiers du Cylindre, and Les or Felines. Man, these are different strategies that you can come and check out that actually do hold some potential. It does make sense. Similar to the martingale and the Fibonacci, it works if you do it right up until a point, and you could potentially lose everything. But come check this out and let us know if you've seen one of these strategies before. Maybe you know one that you've developed yourself. It would be lovely to hear from you what your take on your strategy for roulette is. And that is the end of our live stream, guys. Today is Wednesday, the 14th of November. I want to wish you a fantastic rest of your week. And if you like this video, please do hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you really do like these live streams and you want to be updated and notified. We're almost at 200 subscribers. We're so close. Please share it with a friend. Share the channel with a friend. Share the video with a friend. Hit that comment section up. Let me know. Get into contact with me. Let me know how your day was. Let me know about where your stance is in crypto. We can always talk back and forth. It would be lovely. See you guys in the next video. Till next time. From myself, BroKaine and Bitcoin Chaser. Have a lovely rest of your week. Bye-bye.